The mood among Real Madrid fans this morning is not grief. It's something colder than that. It's the quiet, furious recognition that this wasn't just a defeat, it was a verdict.
Madre mia Maria. I've been processing comments since this dropped, and I genuinely cannot find a single fan who is trying to spin this positively. The usual "will bounce back" crowd? Gone. Silent. Even the optimists have left the building.
And look, we covered the build-up all week. The dressing room chaos, the Mbappé fury, the Arbeloa rallying cries. But the fans who were loudest in their belief yesterday are now the loudest in their devastation today. That whiplash is real.
One comment with over 200 upvotes just says, and I'm translating this directly, checkmate from Barcelona to Real Madrid. That's it. No elaboration. And honestly, 200 people agreed, because what else is there to say?
There's another one that stings even more. Someone wrote, again translating, "How are you going to celebrate a title by beating a small team like Madrid?" That's a Barcelona fan rubbing it in. And the brutal part is that dozens of Madrid fans are upvoting it almost like they agree with the self-deprecation.
That's the masochism of being a Madrid fan right now, Theo. You get so beaten down that you start nodding along when the enemy insults you. That's not healthy, that's not Madridismo, but I understand it.
And then there's the La Liga discourse, which is fascinating because fans are tying themselves in knots. One comment says, translating, "La Liga is mediocre because there's no worthy rival for the champion." Okay, so Barcelona are champions of a bad league.
But then, someone else immediately fires back, and this is the one that got me. If the league is bad, and Madrid only managed to win the Tortoise of Troy award, what level is Madrid at? Que barbaridad. That's a Madrid fan destroying their own club's season in one sentence.
The Tortoise of Troy. I need a moment with that one. That's genuinely creative insult energy, and it's coming from inside the house. The self-roasting from the fan base this morning is operating at a very high level.
But beneath the jokes, there's real anger, and the target keeps shifting between Arbeloa and Mbappé and Florentino. It's like a carousel of blame, and fans are hopping on and off depending on who they're most furious with in any given minute.
Let's talk Arbeloa, because the comments there are short, but they hit hard. Someone wrote simply, "Arbeloa, if you had any shame, you would resign." That's the sentiment. Not, "you should be sacked," not, "the board should act." Resign. On your own. Out of dignity.
And there's a journalist, Roberto Gomez, asking publicly where the cocky and defiant Arbeloa went, saying the situation has overtaken him. That's the narrative now. The guy who was calling out players by name, who was supposedly the tough new voice, he got exposed on the biggest night.
And yet, and I think this is worth noting, there's also a voice in the comments that says, "Arbeloa, stay." It's a minority, but it exists. Some fans genuinely believe the chaos isn't his fault, that he inherited a broken structure and a dressing room that was already fractured.
I'm not in that camp, but I respect the argument. What I can't respect is the version of Arbeloa that was supposedly banging tables and confronting players all week and then watched his side concede 2 goals in the first 18 minutes at Camp Nou. Vamos, that's not a crisis, that's a collapse.
Now, Mbappé. Because the Mbappé discourse has reached a level this morning that I genuinely didn't think was possible after everything we've covered this week. Fans are calling him the fraud with a capital F.
One comment, translated, says, they're starting to see the Mbappé fraud, a guy who only scores goals that don't matter and has been living off the 2022 World Cup for 4 years and hasn't won a single Champions League. That's the prosecution's opening statement, and the jury is nodding.
But here's where it gets really interesting, because some fans aren't just going after Mbappé, they're going after Florentino for signing him. One comment says, and I'm translating, "Mbappé is Florentino's most expensive indulgence, out with both of them." Both of them.
That's the shift, Theo. For months, it was Mbappé out. Now it's Mbappé and Florentino out. The anger has climbed the ladder. And then there's this absolutely devastating comment about Florentino. Someone pointing out that he once said no player was bigger than the club when he pushed CR7 out and then turned around and handed Mbappé the keys to everything. The hypocrisy argument is back, and it's louder than ever.
And what's striking is that the UCL thread is almost entirely about Mbappé too. Fans bringing up goal tallies, questioning whether the numbers even justify the chaos he's brought. Someone literally posted combined goal numbers for Mbappé, Vinicius, and Valverde across all competitions and laughed at them. The era is being judged harshly.
There's also a really poignant one about Valverde that I can't get out of my head. A fan wrote, translated, "Valverde, you are a truly great player. You deserve better treatment. Hopefully, you leave and play for a great team like PSG where they actually value and respect you." After everything with the alleged dressing room incident this week, that's a fan essentially saying, get out while you can.
That comment tells you everything about the current mood. When your own fans are encouraging your best midfielders to leave for PSG, the club this fanbase spent years mocking, you know something has broken at a fundamental level.
And RMTV apparently called La Liga a circus and a complete joke during the broadcast, which, look, there's always a grain of grievance there that's valid, but when your own club's TV channel is calling the competition you just lost a circus, it feels more like deflection than protest.
Fans picked up on that too. Someone mentioned Pedrerol specifically, the journalist, dedicating the title to him, sarcastically. The conspiratorial energy is still there, but it's running alongside genuine self-reflection now, which is actually new. That combination is uncomfortable and interesting.
Uncomfortable is exactly the right word. This fanbase woke up this morning as the club that just lost El Clásico and the title to Barcelona, with a dressing room in reported chaos, a coach whose future is in serious doubt, and a superstar forward who a huge portion of the fanbase has turned completely against. That's the reality check.
And yet, Real Oviedo in 3 days. La Liga. The season isn't over. There are still games to play. Still something to salvage in terms of how this group finishes. Whether fans have any emotional energy left for Oviedo on Thursday is another question entirely, but we'll be here tomorrow morning to find out.
Tomorrow we'll have had another night of fan reactions marinating, more takes dropping, probably some kind of official statement or reaction from the club, and we'll dig into all of it. Whatever comes, Ruido Blanco is running. Hala Madrid, even on the dark mornings, especially on the dark mornings.